Should we go ahead?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I wish everyone a very good evening to all the eminent speakers of today's session. And before we start, I would like to extend my gratitude to Ms. Preeti Malhotra, who is a founder and a chairperson of Healing Towards Happiness. Ms. Preeti, she has started this organization with a purpose in mind. And I'm very proud to see her step by step striding towards her goal. And this idea also is propagated by Ms. Preeti that we should speak about men. There are various organizations, there are various occasions when we are talking about women and how vulnerable they are and what steps should be taken and how we can give them or how we can work towards giving them equality. And there are various other topics on which we have been talking about it. And about men, we barely speak. There are organizations who are working, but about them, there are very few sessions you must have seen happening. So I'm very happy that Ms. Preeti Malhotra, she came up with this idea. And the topic that she has chosen for today is a wonderful topic and very close to my heart. Even I too would love to hear what today's eminent speakers have to say. So without taking much time, I would like to request Major Nupur Gupta to introduce herself and tell us her opinion about on the topic. Over to you.
Thank you, Shubha. Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be a part of this panel discussion. And just a brief introduction that right now I am the Dean Academics for IMS Noida. I'm a certified trainer and a life transformation coach. For detail, I'll request that people can go and have a look at the LinkedIn profile. I've been a part of various panel discussions. And since I come from the environment where we are in 1,000 men, possibly you will find one female coming from the army. So the environment is that you have your men around various age group, various environment, various regions. So possibly I've seen them from a very close quarters and to understand how they behave and why they behave. So we can take it after the introduction of all the guests one by one.
Major Nupur,
Okay.
you can share your views, and as soon as Shubha will go to the another speaker, they will be introducing.
Okay, perfectly fine. See, I feel the concept of toxic masculinity comes from the kind of environment all of us are living in. Shubha, can I request you to please switch on the PPT, if possible?
Okay. I think Ms. Preeti Malhotra, she is sharing. Yeah.
Okay, perfectly fine. So it comes from the kind of environment that we are seeing, and it is predominantly a patriarchy society where the males have been dominating. All the rules, all the regulations have been set in by them. And since childhood, we have been given this environment that how a boy, oblique how a girl is supposed to behave. To the extent, if you see, the colors also have been set up by people that for females, they have given pink as a color, vice versa, for males, they have given blue as a color. But the question is, who are any one of us to decide which child or which individual is going to select which color? Can we move on to the next slide, please? Next, please. Each child, whether it's a boy or whether it's a girl, have been given certain kind of traits which we all can see in our day-to-day life, like men are supposed to be more aggressive, women are considered to be more feminine, and they are supposed to be not as aggressive. Similarly, the behaviors are supposed to be more dominant. Girls are supposed to be more submissive. The boys are supposed to be more active. The girls are supposed to be more passive. The boys are supposed to be tough. The girls are supposed to be gentle. And there would be a list of things which happen or which is expected from a girl and a boy. And we also compare them to the extent that if they do not behave in a certain fashion as the society has given, we also have words where we put the men down if they are not behaving in the given fashion. For example, all of you would have heard, men don't cry. Men don't express their emotions. They are tough. What are these? These are certain guidelines which our society has imposed upon us to behave in a particular fashion. Can we go to the next slide, please? And these are some of the traits which are given to a boy, not only as a trait, but also as a behavior that they are supposed to follow in their lifetime. For example, one big challenge which is given, that they are the earner of the house. They are the head of the house. Getting the money in the house will come from them. They are supposed to be more masculine. They are supposed to be more rough. They are supposed to be take care of their families. And sometimes also we come to a situation that if they are doing or acting in a particular fashion, it is said men will be men. I'm sure each one of you would have seen the advertisement of, let's say, the Imperial Blue, or you would have seen the advertisement of a Axe. Can we go to the next slide, please? This slide is basically about how the media also has changed the image in mindset of each one of us. And a person is supposed to be more stronger, more tougher, more healthier, more masculine, and people get the psychological effect because of these kinds of image with the media or the picture is projecting. And since childhood, it is not only that today a child is 16, 17-year-old and it starts. No, it starts from the basic environment, from the very first day when the child starts walking or when the child starts behaving, the kind of toys that the children are given. So let's say if a girl is given a kitchen set, a boy is given a Lego set, or they are given a mechanics set. Now, who is to decide that, okay, this child will play with this particular toy? And we indirectly also follow this kind of a pattern. I'm sure each one of you would have at some point of time gone to the market to buy a gift for a boy or a girl. And the first thing you do is, I need a toy for a 6-year-old boy. That means somewhere or the other, each one of us have an image or a perception about what are the things a boy is supposed to do or what are the things a girl is supposed to do. And that image carries on from that stage to a longer stage of life where we start expecting ourselves to follow that particular norm. And if we do not fall into that category of being able to perform up till that norm, we have problems in life. We'll come to the problems in the coming time, but let's move to the next slide. Since we were talking about the media, I wanted to take you to the advertisement, which I come from a marketing field. So I wanted to take you, and I'm sure each one of you would have seen that advertisement of a Axe, where you are using a deodorant and you are using a perfume. And why are you using it? To attract the female. Have you ever seen any advertisement which is about female perfume and deodorants, which says you are attracting men? So somewhere or the other, the whole purpose of men and the whole purpose of being a woman have been preconceived in our society. And that is where we need to understand, why are we discussing this topic? What are the challenges, who we are, and what are the things we need to sort out. Preeti, can we go ahead, or would you want me to take a break here so that we can incorporate the other panel members? Because from here, we will touch upon the other aspect of the discussion.
You can continue, ma'am.
Okay. So something
you can continue. Otherwise, if you want, like it could be another form of a question, we can go with that also.
I think it will be better in case we take the views up till here from all the panel members, and then we can talk about the next stage, because from here we will move on to the next portion of it.
Fine. Yeah. So Shubha, you can
Thank you.
switch to another.
Yes, I would like to ask one thing from Major Nupur Gupta, that as you're talking about, media plays a very vital role, and image and perception is created by media that they should be like a macho man, and they should not cry, they should not express their emotions. So are you going to blame media only, or who do you think that playing the major role in it? Is it the media or the family setting or the our belief?
I particularly feel that it's not a blame game. It is just that it was to project that how it is happening. But I feel all of us are responsible at some or the other platform. It would be direct, it would be indirect. So whether I am sitting here as a mother, I may be also at a fault. The society may be at a fault. Certain traditions and practices also may be at a fault. Something which was prevalent, let's say 100 or 200 years ago or thousands of years ago, if we are still following it without challenging or without understanding the whys and why nots, we are possibly all to be blamed instead of blaming just the media or society.
Rightly said. I completely agree with you, Major Nupur, that yes, with the change that is coming into the society, we should change our perception also. Instead
Exactly.
of going to the same practices that we had earlier, we need to introspect, and then we have to bring some changes in the society that we can handle this situation. So next, I think Haridas sir, he is ready to speak. So I will request Haridas sir to introduce himself and to express his opinion on the topic.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. It's a great pleasure. Again, from HTH. Okay. I got a call. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shubha ma'am, also, Priti ma'am, and my earlier speaker, Nupur ma'am. It's okay. Excellent speech. The thing is, toxic masculinity, basically, it was not in our earlier days, but it was when we have seen in our mythological matters. Obviously, we have followed the male person's voice. You go through all Ramayana, Mahabharata, and everything, you will see that we have followed the male person's voice first. Though we worship God, yeah, goddess, lots of, but still, and now from that way, or that you can say evolved, it is nowadays not in India, but also in many countries. Basically, male domination, that part is just like a homophobia. It's a, you can say it's an aggression, and manliness, it's a perpetuates domination. Okay, man will be man. Just my previous speaker Nupur ma'am told, yes, men will be man, that advertise, and the wild spray, that one synthol, that was also, and X, all the deodorant. Now the thing is, the six-pack ab, still that advertisement is going on. You know why? Because just to attract in marketing field for the masculinity. Now, when any person in our society gets the major or leading role, obviously in any leadership, it's a you can say it's an inborn habit. Like, if you get any leadership qualities, any leadership position also, you will start ruling. It's normal. It's a normal phenomenon. Okay. Now the thing is that from that normal phenomenon, it comes to the society that men will be men, husband will be husband. Okay, fine. But sometimes, due to some socio-economic culture, social responsibility, due to some environment problem, due to depression, due to you can say anger, due to anxiety, due to horror, there are lots of reasons behind this toxic masculinity. We can say it's very easily that yes, the husband was beating his wife. We can hear many times the sounds are coming for domestic violence. Yes, but obviously in our previous session, or maybe in other session also, we may discuss, obviously each and every actions depends on what environment he or she belongs. Now the thing is coming, when toxic matters are coming, the, you can say that it's a boys will be boys, men will be men, it's okay, fine. But the domination, the control and intensity and aggression, all are controlled by the human nature and psychological matters. You believe me or not, if you say that you are in an, he is, oh my God, the sound was coming, he was beating his wife, or domestic violence was happening, or maybe in society he was fighting, he is he is in a noble profession, but he is doing these things. The thing is that profession, earnings, masculine figure is not matter. The thing is everything comes from here. How much pleasure you are. The thing is that how much happy you are, how much peaceful you are. Are you in a mental quotient? That quotient belongs to your happy. Are you feeling pleasure? Are you feeling peacefulness? And also, are you getting proper love? Sometimes we are blaming men, okay, but the thing is that obviously there is a reason behind it. But very few people are observing in this way. Now, the questions are coming that what are the four types? Basically, four types of masculinity are there: hegemonic, subordinate, complacent, and marginal. But another, I will say it is not four, it may be 10 types. 10 types. The 10 types of toxic masculinity are there. One is stoichivistry, like stoic. Another is, you can say, being promiscuous, being violent. Nowadays, the patience are decreasing each and every human being. Believe me, that patients are, we are very fast. Oh my God, in the street, in the shop, wherever you go, you see hurry, hurry, always. There is no time. Even we are forgetting to go to the friend's house in regular interval. We are arranging kitty party, we are arranging in a monthly wise some parties, but in a regular habit, we are forgetting to talk to our parents, those who are in different city. We are forgetting to talk to our relatives in a regular interval because of time pressure. So being violent, they are dominating because of under pressure. In my last session already I told that how a man or woman are showing their actions, obviously there is a context, and that context creates the consequences. Now the thing is coming that sometimes you can say that displaying is of emotion, there is no display board. I cannot say, please don't talk with me, I am angry. I have no board. But when I am going to the street for marketing, if I am saying anyone, hello uncle, how are you? He is saying, yes, fine, how are you? But sometimes not giving response also. Now he is giving reply just like that. I am begging his kidney. Like that type of actions are coming. The thing is that you can say that sometimes that masculinity forms, it comes from the psychological matters, it comes from the environment matters, it comes from the you can say the domestic matters. And due to that domestic matters, obviously that masculinity depends on such type of feminism also. If that in that family, that feminism problem are there for her wife, okay, obviously it stimulates that masculine part. Many one will not believe that aggression, that violence, that depression, and the anger, and the beating up, and the showing a toxic masculinity in everywhere, it comes from the peacefulness, it comes from the poor happy hormones, it comes from the someone is insisting. Who is controlling the normal what do you call homely environment? Who? Either he or she. So she means here, if his wife giving complete pleasure, peacefulness, happiness, love, and everything in transparency, obviously he will not be toxic. It's 100% true. And if you believe or not, that feminist allegation, sometimes allegations also are coming, and due to the society, in our society, okay, we always try to blame. He was showing these things, he was sending a message in this way, and what do you call, a man starts aggression, starts actions after getting a false complaint, after getting a false blame, because of the anger, because of the you can say not supporting through heartily. Okay, so now we are saying always that toxic masculinity forms in a very short period, because the temperament cannot hold for too much time for any male part. Yes, it's true, but always it's not true that the masculine part is toxic, going to toxic is in a very short moment. That is not true. Obviously there
Haridas
is a
sir,
story behind it.
sorry to interrupt you, but I think Miss Nisha had some question. She
Yeah.
has raised her hand. She wants to ask something to
Okay,
you.
sure.
Yes,
Very,
Nisha.
very good evening to everybody, the panelists and the sponsor, Ms. Preeti Malhotra. Thank you so much. And Dr. Nupur has really started it well. I hope I'm audible to you, sir, Mr.
Yeah, yeah,
Mukherjee.
yeah, sure.
Very well started, sir, by you also. You started with a lot of good things to say about men, and I'm sure that being a man that you are talking about, that man reacts in certain ways just because of the pressures and because of the time pressure, constraints, and other things. But my dear gentlemen, I really want to know that, do you think that the pressure is only with the men? It is also with the women. We are
Yeah,
not talking, we are not talking about the gender disparity. What we are talking is that toxic masculine behavior comes in by the pressures of the society, that men are expected to react in a certain manner. Okay.
exactly.
And then they want to show their roughness, toughness, and that they're very strong, they're physically strong, they're mentally strong, and men cannot cry, men will be men, they are the bread earners, as the Dr. Nupur also said. They want to show their power, they want to show that we are the ones who are giving you the food and the bread. But my concern is that if they show this callous emotional disinvestment, and they are very aggressive, or if as you say, that because of the time constraints or the pressures, they are aggressive, I strongly believe that you said everything is here. So if a person is able to compose or retain himself, I don't think so that this toxicity has to develop only in men. Same pressures are there with women. In fact, I would say some more pressures, because men goes in the morning and comes in the evening after getting his uh, job done, and he's so exhausted that he wants food served on bed, he wants a remote to watch the news. But a lady is working 24 into 7, sometimes for her kids, sometimes for her job, sometimes for her in-laws, sometimes for her own self, you know and after all that time pressures, still she's supposed to smile and greet you and cook with lots of
Exactly.
love for you. So, see,
Yes.
when I say toxicity, it is nothing to do with physical pressures and aggressions. It is your own control of your behavior. And because the men are under that pressure of reacting in a certain manner, they are not venting it out. They are just not able to express themselves very clearly. And that is the reason they go to that mental
Obvious.
depression. My apologies if I have disheartened you somewhere, but I disagree with
No,
that.
100% true.
I
100% true.
see we are
But
all
I
ready.
have not finished yet. I was coming,
Yeah, all
but
right,
I was coming to that topics only. Yes, I was coming
all
to
right,
that topics only,
all
because
right. Then.
I already told that,
Mm.
yes, already I told that feminism are also including with this toxic part. Okay, at that time I was going to speak these
All
things.
right.
Okay,
Sir, continue. Sir, please
because
continue. If I have disrupted you,
yeah,
please, you can
because
continue.
yes, okay, because a family, a complete family, you can say, obviously it is a balance factor with the male and female both part. Okay, so if I say always I am giving the blaming to only the wife, or only the what do you call toxicity, the creator is her part, his partner. No, that's not true. that wife also suffering from lots of sibling problem, lots of in-laws problem, lots of what do you call from the family problem. They have also some MQ. The mental quotient is also in that stage. So he will have to, the man will be man means not only for fighting, man will be man means he will have to control the family, he will have to control the balance of a wife's mentality. Okay, that is also another part. If he can't, that is the problem. Yeah,
Sir,
that is the thing.
the point is why control? Why control? Why can't he share? Why can't he enjoy that companionship? The question is
not
this
this-
only, that they want to control the things. They want to control wife, they want to control the house. No, the word is not control. What we are looking forward to, see,
Sharing. Is sharing.
I am a senior senior in charge, and I've been into this education field from, let's say, 26 years. I have been watching adolescent boys, adolescent children
Yeah,
facing this kind of issues. You know, if a child is very courteous, if a boy I'm talking about
Yeah.
of, let's say, class 11, he's very courteous to girls and he is very helpful to girls. You know, he's bullied by the rest of the boys. There is the kind of school harassment going on for that particular boy who tends to behave in a different manner, who's not like those bossy boys, who's unlike those male dominating boys. If the boy is generous, kind, and he vents out or he cries, he's made fun of by the other boys themselves. See, what kind of boy you are? Why were you crying? Why did you apologize? Why did you say sorry? You know, so boys are also not ready to accept those boys who are trying to break the stigma, you know, who are trying to break the loop of the
this is
strong
called
boy.
this is called stereotypical masculine.
Actually, so I would
May
say
I,
that
may I come in here, Miss Nisha?
yes, no, ma'am,
See,
welcome.
possibly that is what we were trying to start in the initial portion only.
Exactly.
The problem is not the child who is trying to adjust or who is well behaved. The problem is that since beginning or since
Yeah.
the initial years of grooming,
Exactly.
if a boy has seen the domination in the family, if the boy has been
Absolutely.
groomed that way, it is difficult for them to accept that the other part of the behavior which you are mentioning, that if the boy is soft, if he is polite, if he is courteous, because they do not accept this as a normal behavior. They
Actually.
feel that this is a submissive behavior, and
Mm.
them accepting this kind of a behavior will not make them men. They will only be men if they behave in a particular fashion. So that
Actually.
definition of men which is in our society is what is a challenge, and we all need to change that, whether you as a mother or I as a mother or educator or academicians or even as an individual. Let's say we are into no roles, but those basic norms, like for example we were talking about, and Mr. Mukherjee was mentioning that they will change, and there are various forms of angers and there are various forms of toxic masculinity which is
Yeah.
happening, but
No
the
display
question
board.
is,
No display board.
yeah,
Yeah, I
but the
request
question
panelists
is,
to let,
Yeah.
sorry, ma'am, but I
yeah,
will
but
request
the
Mr. Mukherjee to finish. Then after that, we will just listen from the panelists
So,
what is their opinion and
just a
viewpoint.
request that we'll take a
Yeah.
counter questions or counter replies later on. That every speaker should get the time to present their views.
Yes.
And then at the last, we'll be coming up with a counter discussion, right?
Okay,
Thank
so
you,
I'm
Ms.
just
Preeti.
rounding off. Just to sum up, I am just delivering my speech that just for what do you call, you can to stop toxic masculinity, we'll have to first of all you can say create an habit of forgiveness. First of all, number one. Number two, we will have to avoid the de-stress part, that stress part, and least but not at last but not least, I will say that being cooperate and collaborate. Sharing is caring. So if you share your problem, your thoughts, your views within your family, means with your partner in a proper way, obviously there should not be any toxic matters which can kill a family. Now I will not take too much time. We have a lots of another speakers. Okay, so Thank you so much. If anyone have any question, please feel free to contact haridas.mukherjee@gmail.com or the contact number also with the HTH Preeti ma'am. Okay, you can contact, no problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Haridas sir. Thank you so much. Normally what happens, we talk about problem, right? You not only raise that topic, but the thing is that you have given the solutions also.
Exactly.
That is what one
That is
should
the most
look
important part,
forward
because
to.
through this
Yes.
seminar, or webinar, someone may learn that yes, I will have to create this habit, the way of forgiving, the way of avoiding distress, the way of non-violence. They will have to maintain. We are saying that 2nd October that we are giving the garlanding to Gandhiji. Yes, Ahinsha Andolan. But the thing is that we are not following so many times. Okay, we will have to do it.
Definitely, sir. You started with Hindu mythology, then you just gave a present example. And so very well, you concluded with the
Gandhi's path.
solution.
Yeah,
Yeah, that we should be always following.
because he was
So,
not toxic, right?
yes, very well said, sir. So now I would request our next panelist, Miss Kaushal Singh. She is the principal, the Learning STEM International School, Pipriya, Madhya Pradesh, and she is an AIF resource person also. So over to you, ma'am. We
Thank
would
you,
like to hear
Shubha.
your opinion about it. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you,
Please.
Shubha, ma'am. Thank you. And I love to see Dr. Nupur Gupta here. I heard her so many times, but this is the first time I saw her here virtually. But I got this chance, ma'am, to see you. I'm obliged, and I can say I'm a disciple to hear you every time.
Thank you. So kind of
Whenever
you.
there is some discussion going on. And Nisha ma'am, I heard her few times that she is very good speaker, and there are profound speakers like Haridas sir and you Shubha ma'am itself, and definitely Preeti. She is doing great work in this field, and she's going on, and she's unstoppable, I can say. Definitely, she will do wonders. The way we are taking this topic today for masculine gender, and we are talking about toxicity, and this is like how it is starting, and why this kind of behavior started, why the male child started doing all such things. Ever we thought of, ever we think of this thing? Because it is not like that suddenly somebody's behavior changed, somebody changed, and the aggression that comes and that appears in a person, it's normal, or suddenly it happens that okay, today I want to be angry, so today is my angry day. Like we used to celebrate orange day and a yellow day, so it is my aggressive day, so today I remain aggressive. It is like a male is thinking in that way. It's not like that. It's like from childhood, like 7 stages are there for every human. So from a child, like a small boy is at there. I am also a mother. I'm also having a son and a daughter. But as I felt, male are a bit dominant from childhood, whether they are younger, whether they are elder. But it is somewhere we are also biased. It is being a parent, we are also biased sometimes, and we take or we give advantage to male more than the female. We give them reins and we give them that strength that yes, you are the bread earner of the house in future. You need to come up with so many things. You need to take the responsibility in the future, because we are teaching them in home. We are saying all such things. We are showing them. They are seeing the behavior of the parent. They are seeing the behavior of the father, their grandfather, their brothers, their sisters, surroundings. And this thing is not happening in one house. It is happening everywhere. Everywhere it is happening. If I can say, there are many functions that happen in school premises. So, including females. Are we asking female children to pull or push heavy things? We never ask them, because we are considering them weak, and we are thinking that okay, male is strong, They can do it. They have that capacity. So we ask them to do such work that, okay, this is your job, you need to do it. We are discriminating themselves, or sorry, we are discriminating them. We themselves are doing all such kind of things. So from where this kind of toxic thing appeared? Because as I say that I read one of the research of Azim Premji Foundation of 2003 or 2002, where totally it was written that children, those who are from the backward classes, children, those who are from, those who are coming up from poverty, and especially parents, those who are not well aware, those who are not well educated, and especially parents, those who are from interiors of the country. Like I belong to Madhya Pradesh. I cannot say that yes, Madhya Pradesh is very well educated area. Everybody is high profile and it is like Kerala or it is like Delhi metropolitan. No. But yes, there are certain areas that are literally very good in education as well, like Indore, like Gwalior. But there also, if I say the mentality of the parent is, if I speak about myself, what I had seen and I had observed, parents, one parent is sending their female child in Hindi medium school. Why? Because they used to think that she is not the bread earner of the house. She cannot do anything. She is weak. Because we have to spend a lot of money on her marriage. So why we have to consider her education? Why we need to give her that kind of platform which we wanted to give to our son? So from where this biasness appears? It is appearing from us. We are the parents. We are giving that thing. Then when it comes for the child, the male child of the family, what are they saying? He has to earn the bread. He has to do all the chores, so that male child has to study in a big institution or in a good institution. He will bring success to the family. He will bring everything to the family. Though I can say me and my sister, we are two sisters. My sister is PhD holder. And though I have not done PhD, but yes, I am holding a very good position right now. My brother, he is also there. He has done engineering. But my parents, the kind of ground they have given to me, because my father was a KVN retired teacher. So the ground which they have given to us, they never considered us as weak. There are parents, those who are trying to give a platform, or if I can say a ground to their daughters, that they can also come up. But why this behavior, this kind of behavior that is appearing from the males? Because we had strengthened them. We have given them choice and the liberty that now if he sees his sister as a weak gender at home, and when he gets married, then a girl is also accompanying him. But the nature cannot change. We cannot change that nature and behavior. If suppose I'm a male child and I'm asking, okay, today I require iPhone 13 and I wanted it, anyhow, parents have to bring it at home. But if it comes for the girl child, it is like, okay, we will purchase, but there are certain conditions for you. We are setting limits by ourselves. We are not saying it for somebody else. We are setting the limits. We are doing all such things. Then when it comes for a male child, if male child is saying, okay, I want to study somewhere outside. I don't want to study in this area. I have to go out. Then we are giving him that space. But when it comes for the female child, we used to think of that, okay, which profession is better? If I take my own example, I wanted to be a criminal lawyer, but my father didn't consider it. He said, okay, it's better to be a teacher because it's a noble profession. What did I say at that point? There's nothing to say about it. I myself consider it, okay, no job is easy and no job is tough. It is based on your experience and it is based on your tax, that how you are tackling it. But secondly, if I say, if I have to give a ground or a platform to my daughter, so I'm also thinking for a safe side where she can settle down easily. where she can also have something where she doesn't have to struggle. But for my boy, I'm thinking that, okay, I should send him in an army school, whether he would be rough and tough. But I am providing that kind of nature. I am giving him that kind of platform. But I'm not thinking for my daughter that she could join army or navy or some that kind of a profession. So being mother, I am soft-centered for my daughter, not for my boy. This behavior, this toxic behavior, we are just growing it inside a male. Slowly and steadily, from asking and from dominating for few things at home, it becomes their part of the life. They start taking it for granted. It is an advantage for them because they knew at old age our parents require our helping hand. So they need to consider the male child more than the female. So this behavior, this toxicity appears from there. I definitely agree with that because I belong to an Orthodox Rajput family where males are very rigid. They are not so easy to take as to be taken as granted. They are not agreed easily for anything. If I ask for, if I say that, okay, my husband would be agreed for something, or my husband will easily accept everything, it's not so easy. Because after marriage, you are not just a human being or a wife, you are like a property. For a male, he used to think of that, yes, for each, and like Mr. Mukherjee said once, there was one point where I also felt little like, okay, this is also happening, that where male want to control each and everything of the female. Whatever decision, whether it is in my professional field, whether it is in my personal life field, whether it is in making of my children's future decision, everywhere, if I am finding something suitable, something right for my kids, maybe my family, my husband, they do not agree with that. They may be thinking, okay, you are female, that's why you are thinking in that. There might be something, you might be taking a safe passage, that's why you are thinking in that way. They are not considering your viewpoints to be as they have some value. Because this kind of behavior that is appearing, because this behavior is appearing, why this behavior is appearing? Because we made them in that way. As when we are getting married, what we are taught, not to say anything to your husband, don't backfire to him, don't backfire to your in-laws, not to say anything because it will come directly on your family. So what are we teaching to our daughters? To stay quiet and calm. And what are we teaching to our sons? Take hold of your family, control each and everything. Don't go beyond, don't let your wife go beyond the rules and regulations of the house. Why? My question is why over here from every panelist, why this kind of biasness that we are generating by ourselves, why this is happening? Can I have any answer, please?
So there's a question from Mrs. Kaushal.
Yes, ma'am.
And Dr. Nupur, she raised her hand. So would Dr. Nupur like to answer the question, or Mr. Mukherjee?
I'll take on, no issues. I'm open to Mr. Mukherjee also taking on both ways. I think we all align with that. See, the question which you have put yourself, the answer is also there. We started with what was the mythology, and our society has been the male-dominated society.
Yes.
So a small, very small example. You have 2 children at home. You also have given the same example, and that is your answer to your question. We do not teach the female child the risk taking. Whereas the same child, when it is happening, the change is happening now. But if you go back to the generations and generations, why so much of importance to a male child was because the whole purpose of marriage and having the children was to continue with the generations, the creation of progenies. And the role of women was the nurturer's role. Whereas the role of men was to go out, whether to start of generations where we were hunting. From hunting, it changed to managing the houses, and then it came to various professions of going out. Today also, if you look, there are very little percentage of women who are working outside the house, whereas 100% of females are working inside the house. Some are working double, working outside and inside the houses. So invariably, the environment has been such from the childhood that the boys, you would hear fathers and sons, or Mr. Singh and sons. But in recent times, you have also heard Mr. Singh and daughters. So change is happening. It is not that the change is not happening, but since the men was given that role in our society, that is why that behavior and that decision making and also the risk taking. And that is why we are discussing today that what is wrong in it. I am not saying maybe some generations back this would have been perfectly fine, that grooming the men to become the earner. Perfectly fine. But today the role has changed and we need to adapt to our behavior where we have to give the equal right, equal responsibility and respect. Not only to males and females, we have made it binary. Ya to ladka hai ya ladki hai. Today we talk about the diversity and inclusion. In fact, when I was talking about the toxic masculinity, there is something very important which came, that there is a lot of disregard amongst the men society for the men who are gay. I am touching upon the slightly sensitive and extreme issues. So
No,
there
it's
is a
true. It's
a
true.
person who is a gay. There is an issue for a person who has certain traits. There is an issue for a boy who is emotional. There is an issue for a person who likes who likes to dress in a particular shirt. So there is no other preference. There is no other trait issue, but only your color choices. So people have defined pink is a female color and a men will not wear it. So there are so many issues which cannot be changed overnight. However, first for us to identify that yes, there is certain issue. And second, finding out solution to those issues.
Very well said, Dr. Nupur. Very well said. I completely second that we are adoptable these days. You know, I completely appreciate Mrs. Singh also, the way she has very clearly admitted, coming from a Rajput family, that she herself is also reluctant to send her daughter somewhere abroad, you know. I respect these women, at least they are trying to admit. But I have seen many ladies who do this, but they will not admit it in public. You know, the mothers, they would say, nay, nay, I treat my children equally, but somewhere in their heart, they are not treating them equally. I am also a mother. I am also having one girl and one boy. I mean, I'm blessed with a son as well as a daughter. But we as learned people, or maybe educators, as you said, that we know we will never allow any daughter to be feeling a little less than the child who's a boy. Or I would not let my boy say, no, you cannot go to the kitchen. I mean, he can equally cook for his breakfast himself. There is no role definement. There is no color choice definement. And we all need to learn this. We all need to adjust with breaking those social norms that with in our earlier years, the parents used to. If my daughter wants to go abroad and settle in Canada, probably I would not like to send any of my child. If not the girl, even not the boy, just because of my emotional needs. Not because she's a girl, I will not send her. But yes, I also admit that during the constraints given by the society, during the kind of pressures given by the society, children themselves feel the same taboo attached to them. As I said, that the boys also feel this taboo कि यार तूने पिंक कलर की शर्ट पहनी है, यार लड़की है कहीं का. So these kind of adjectives, these kind of slangs, these kind of peer pressure sometimes forces the boy to behave in a certain manner when he's not wanting to behave. If a boy is conscious about his beauty looks, or he wants to go to the saloon quite often, again he's teased upon. He ladki hai, baar baar parlor jata hai. So there are certain phrases, there are certain conditions given which we need to break. And Dr. Mukherjee mentioned this, that with the forgiveness, with the meditation, with the composed behavior, and with the tolerance for each other, I'm sure that we'll definitely come with certain solutions. And we as teachers, we as mothers have a big role to play in this. Now, teaching
Thank you
the
so
gender
much.
equality.
And I
Yes.
have
Thank
made
you,
lots
ma'am.
of uh, just coming to with your point, that I have made lots of counseling to the male, means the husband. Okay, just how to behave with your wife. No need to show your aggression. I know it's coming from the leadership. It comes from the strength. It comes from the courage. It comes from the independence. It comes from the assertiveness. But the thing is, if a male can counsel a male, this toxicity will remove from our society. That is the most important part. And obviously, please lend them a hand to make our society beautiful. I will give this message. Yes, because sometimes we may do mistakes, we may create problems, and we are showing to the others in our society that I have faced in our family in this way, so that's why I have done these things. No, not that. So all we are responsible. Even I will request that if any male, means husband, feeling that he is going to toxic and showing their aggressiveness day to day, it is increasing, please contact the counselor or the doctors or your close friends and share your problems before breaking a family, before breaking any other important valuable matters. Okay.
Thank you.
This
Thank you so much, Haridas sir, for your opinion. And I would like to really appreciate Mrs. Kaushal that so wonderfully she has explained. She take up that point, and Dr. Nupur, Ms. Nisha, they have already answered that all those points and
yes.
questions. Now,
Vishal
I
is
would like to
raising hand
request.
from quite
I will
long.
request Mr. Vishal to take up his point, to express his opinion. So over to you, Mr. Vishal. Please introduce yourself and please raise your point that you want to say from long.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste, sir. Over to you, Mr. Vishal.
But I think he is facing some issue. You can.
Technical problem is there. So, would Miss Nisha would like to speak further
Sure, ma'am.
or take up the topic?
Thank you very much. I am indeed very grateful to Ms. Preeti Mehrotra, who's given me this chance to listen to all these learned people. And the topic is so very important for today's time. See, I would like to mention that there are certain men who don't even see a doctor, you know. They say ki mard ko dard nahi hota. This is one fallacy which they have been, this is a fallacy they have been following, you know. And they always teach their children also, be tough. क्या लड़कियों के जैसे रो रहा है तो कोई बात नहीं दर्द हो रही है. I mean, I have seen such people and I feel that is it the pain is also associated with the gender? I'm sure that everybody will agree. We have seen many instances in life where the women have been, you know, subjugated. They have been, let's say, overshadowed by the men in the family. Even if the girls are more intelligent, even if they have the power to manage their finances well, still they'll have to ask their husbands or their fathers or their brothers, you know, to invest in any property. I have myself seen in our families, though it is thankfully not in my family, but I have seen in our families also. My question to ask all you gentle people is how to break this dichotomy where one side the girl is very independent, smart, intelligent, educated, and working, and has her own income coming to satisfy her needs. But at the same time, when she enters the house, she is a docile wife, a mother who's seeking permission from her husband, even if she has to buy an asset for the house. So, this certain times, you know, gives me a kind of mental pressure to think that still we are at the same crossroad, still we are at the same position. As Mrs. Singh said, being in the education world, I have chosen the path which my father showed me. She wanted to be a criminal lawyer, but she chose to be on the safer side to be a teacher. And after being a financially educated, independent woman, still she was facing the same crossroad where she wanted her daughter to be on the safer zone. So I feel somewhere we women also are not wanting to come out of that shell. We are not able to break those cocoons to come out, wherein we can really make and raise our point ki no, the girls have equal footage. There is no gender biasness when it comes to taking their decisions. So why this toxic masculine behavior we have to tolerate, whether it is aggression, whether it is physical violence, whether it is power, whether it is domination. एक अभी मूवी देखी थी थोड़े टाइम पहले, थप्पड़, where the woman reciprocated in the same manner. She loved the man, she loved being in the family, but she could not take her disrespect. You know, people may call it ego, but sometimes it is a self-respect of a woman which is, you know, questioned, and nobody can take it easily. So the solution has to yet a long way ago. I mean, it is still a long way ahead. We still have to look forward that when the women will also start thinking in that manner, ki we will make our own decision. Dr. Nupur, you were just raising your hands. I would request you to please show me that light.
Here, Mr. Before, Dr. Nipur,
Yeah.
Mr. Vishal is waiting for long.
Yes, I would
So
want.
I would request,
I would want him to speak first.
Yes, please.
Yeah, and
Thank
I
you so much.
request everyone to take all the counter explanation or discussion at the last. First, let all the speakers complete their pointers, right?
Yes.
So over to you, Mr. Vishal, please.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Hello.
A very good
Yes.
evening, sir.
It's audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Please introduce yourself and express your
Yeah, thank you so
valuable
much.
points.
I'm Vishal and I have been a trainer and counselor. I'm specialized in the public speaking and I'm a post trainer too. First, before starting about my PowerPoint presentation today, I would like to answer the question which Kaushal madam asked. I'm sorry, but I got disconnected in between, so I couldn't answer it then. And with connection with that, my topic is so I would like to start with it. On a lighter note, what Kaushal ma'am said about was why this is happening. If you see the beautiful, and if you say about the peacock, am I audible to everyone?
Your voice is little weak.
It's
and
cracking,
Drop.
but yes,
Drop.
you're audible.
Just because of the network glitch.
Yeah,
Yes.
might be. Just give me a minute, please. Acha, it's unstable connection.
if you can switch off your camera,
Okay.
then
I'm
just
sorry for
see.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even now the voice is less.
Yeah.
It is less.
Maybe you have switched on your Bluetooth. Please check.
Now, I put off it.
It's okay, Vishal, you're audible. Please continue.
I'm audible, right? So
Yes.
the thing is like I'll bit. It's okay. Okay. Fine. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Vishal, you are
Yeah,
clearly
hi.
audible. Please continue.
So in the animal kingdom, the males are very handsome. Like peacock, the he peacock is very handsome, and the female is a bit not that good looking. Same with the lion, right? I'm sorry to use the word. So the thing is like, and in male, it is exactly opposite. The females are very beautiful, and might be because of that, men has been more protective about female, and that patriarchy had been started from long back. That's my idea about the answer I would like to give to Kaushal ma'am. Anyway, so today I'm going to speak upon this topic of toxic toxic masculinity. In this part, I would like to just is it possible for me to play my PPT, and even can I play from my end? Can I get the rights? Can I share my screen?
Yes.
Yes, you can. You can. Yes, definitely.
Okay. I'm just playing it. I just run through very fast because I know it's already late. Is it visible
Yeah,
to you all?
it's
Yeah,
visible.
it is visible.
Is it visible to everyone? One
Yes.
minute, please. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Just a minute, please. Clear to all?
Right now, it is not visible. If you want me, I'll share. No issues. I have already downloaded.
Okay, fine. Great.
Should I share? You just
No.
stop sharing.
Please, I'll just stop my share. I have stopped my share.
Yeah, sure. Just a minute.
No, this is not mine. This is not mine.
This is yours, right?
No, this is not mine.
No.
This is.
This
I
is
think
Dr.
mine.
Dr. Nupur's.
This is mine.
I have shared again.
No.
We could see only Dr. Nupur's PPT.
Just a minute. Is it okay now?
Yes, right. Can you please do the full screen
Yeah, just a minute.
and click on the second slide so that okay. Now see what the thing is, before understanding the toxic masculinity, we need to understand what exactly masculinity is. Now, what has happened since the earlier is that the social expectation from the men has been high. Means like what Neha ji talked about, or what Nupur ji spoke about. Like he has been a bread earner of the family, right? And similarly, right from the hunting age, it has been the man was hunting and he used to bring and cook. Female used to cook food. That has been a practice for a long time, 2,500 years back. And similarly, our brain has been developed in that particular manner. If you see the transition of the brain, that is from reptilian brain to today's neocortex, it has been the same thing. And this transformation has built in some habit, which has made our brain from a normal, non-thinking object to a very creatively thinking today. So this aspect has been changing slowly and steadily. And similarly, when the masculinity came into picture, it talks about machoism in the men. And that led to a domination to female since the earlier time. And this masculinity came because masculinity includes certain elements like strength, courage, independence, leadership, and assertiveness. Because men used to go for war, they used to go for hunting, they were considered very manly. But similarly, if you see the history in the past, you see that there's been n number of females who has also been a warrior. And we have been talking about them like Dasika Rani, it can be Jija Mata, so many females who has been fought very violently. And they have been very impressive in their work, even on the battlefield. But unfortunately, their purpose has always been home. And in Marathi, there is a concept, the saying called as Chula and Mool. Is taking care of the family and the food habits. Can you please the next one? Now, when we speak about masculinity, it is about certain stages. Now, these stages are normally 5 stages, which I could research upon. I am not a specialist of this subject, but I could research upon, wherein some things like everybody knows that we have a conscious and unconscious brain. Similarly, some things unconsciously happens. Like sometimes we pass a remark on a female. That has been, we are passing that remark because we have seen that sometime in a childhood someone has done it and there was no repercussion to it, or there was no response to it. So for me, it becomes normal. And then it is considered as a man habit, appeasing to the girl or talking to a girl in a different manner. But it is not the case. But unconsciously, I'm doing it. Similarly, certain things I'm doing consciously because I think it has been my understanding that it is normal. So I do it consciously. And that brings to the third aspect, that is critical masculinity. Now, when I say about critical masculinity, it is talking about certain aspect when it's about feminism, like what Mukherjee talk about, right? Like critical, like feminism and masculinism. So there the difference comes into. And the fourth important factor I would like to concentrate upon is multiple masculinity, wherein recently there has been a term called LGBTQ. It has been prominently coming up. When it's about LGBT, what has happened with man is not ready to accept that there are certain things, and he is against the homosexuality. He is more pro towards heterosexuality. So when he is always against feminism, he's always against the homosexuality, he's against certain queers, and he don't like certain queer to overpower him. And that is the reason he is going against this particular segments like LGBTQ. And finally, the fifth part is quite tricky, wherein there is nothing called as masculinity. It has been made, it has been man-made, and that has been projected in front of everyone. And that is how we have been following for. And now when these different communities are coming in, we can understand that masculinity is just something that is an intrinsic quality of a man, but they are required, but it should not be negatively projected. So these are the 5 important stages of masculinity. Coming to the next part of this, the slide. In this, majority of the part has been covered by Mukherjee sir, like being stoic, promiscuous. But the third point, like what which was covered in my earlier part, heterosexual is an unaltered norm. People alternate norm. This is not accepted by men. Then violence and all we have been seeing. The other important aspect that I would like to cover upon is the last point and the 7th point. 7th point and the 10th point. Like 7th point is suppressing the emotions. This has been talked by everyone. But we need to understand why the man today has to suppress this emotion. Or is it happening by default? Or is it because the burden that he is taking? Like when we are talking about, like Neha ji rightly spoke about that in today's era, we don't want a male child not to go into kitchen. That work is not divided. Everyone has to do their work. That is right. But when we talk about India, the majority of the population resides in the rural area. And in the rural area, when it talks about emotions, it becomes an important factor, because in rural area, a man is always a macho. If he cries, he is still considered as not a man, or you can say he is more of the female. Having a topic today so boldly in certain part of India, still this topic cannot be talked so boldly, and so the male is still in the old aspect, or in the old thought process, that male, he has to dictate terms, he has to overpower female, he has to demand for sex from the female whenever he wants. So he has to be, he's demanding. That is there in the rural part. So we as a panelist today, we should take it as an challenge, that we should promote this part in the rural part than more into the urban region. And when this part is there, so the 10th point becomes very valid for the rural area, that he is not willing to do the household chores. It is only for female. So the female should take care of the child, the female should go to work, she should cook the food. At the same time, she should take care of the entire family chores, and he is not going to do anything. These are the masculinity behaviors that man is normally into. Coming to the next aspect. So these 10 points are very important to understand. At the same time, we need to promote this in the areas beyond our reach in the urban area. Now, these 6 segments are the one which make masculinity toxic. So what has happened is, man has been brought up with certain ideologies right from the childhood, and he is trying to do it always again and again, the same thing. He cannot expect a female being praised in front of him. He might be his wife, his sister also at times, right? And secondly, he don't want to be a victim. He always want to win, which is not the case today, because earlier time it was possible, because the ratio of the male and female was very less in terms of education also, and in terms of working also. But today, the male and female ratio is almost equal. So if a female is going beyond him, he might get insulted, or he might feel inferior. Similarly, we go across the experience every day when you are driving a car or riding a bike. A female goes faster, you want to go beyond her. You don't want her to go ahead of you. So these are very normal experience that we do day to day in day-to-day life. And he always want to initiate things. If he initiate things in a sense, everywhere he wants to be first. He want to be leader. He want to show that I am a man. Consciously, he want to do it. So these are the things that every man has been doing, and that leads to some toxicity it adds the prefix of toxic into that particular masculinity. And then certain cases it is violent. I am very sorry to say that violence is very it happens even today in the urban family. I once when I was speaking to one of my friend, very close friend, who was a professional, I was surprised to know that being a professional, being a person earning equal to her counterpart, she was facing violence even today in the city like Mumbai. It was really difficult for me to digest, but it is a fact that is happening even today. So that violence is because that man is still having that, okay, this is, I am man and I am authorized to do this thing. Being a professional, being a harder, earning female, she is facing it. So I can't just imagine what is the position in the rural areas or even the urban segments, which is considered to be the lower middle class pockets of the district or the states that we are studying into. And similarly, I would like to say that the positive aspect, positive and the negative aspect on the both the end is the suppressed emotions. And because the man is expected to do so many things, the emotions are getting suppressed. I think this might answer the first question that was raised by Nehaji in terms of why that when a man is suppressed, because there are certain expectations. And when we talk about the bigger diameter of the globe, in that majority of the male still are suppressed of emotions because they feel I am a man and they don't open up. So these are the certain factors that I will take point upon. And to the last, I just take 2 minutes to explain this because Nehaji has already spoken upon this topic, wherein it is very important because see, when I talk to the person in my 30s or 40s, it is difficult to change them. But when I inculcate this thought process in the mind of the children, it becomes easy for the next generation to understand that there are certain factors which a man can gel with female very easily. And he should, at the school level itself, we should make them understand that the difference between toxic masculinity and masculinity. And they should encourage to talk more upon certain topics. When like the stereotype language we spoke about in the earlier part, Mukherjee sir also talked about, like we should tell them that, like even Nehaji spoke about, when a man is said that मैं मर्द हूं, मर्द is not, मर्द को दर्द होता नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है, or boy can do anything, ऐसा भी नहीं है. This language should be changed. That language should not be used even by teachers and even by the society, so that becomes them understanding for them. And then finally, to open up the challenge, they should be open to challenge. They should talk about certain things. They should talk about feminism. They should talk about masculinity. And these all things will bring end to the toxicity of masculinity. Masculinity is required, but in a proper channel. So this is come to the last part of my presentation. If you please put the second slide. And these are the issues that are happening because of the toxic masculinity. Bullying is happening. School disciplines are getting hampered. Academic challenges are there. Then domestic violence is there. Sexual assaults are happening. So many things happen. Even suicide is one of the part of it. And lack of friendship and genuine connection. This is a very important aspect that everyone should understand, that because of bullying, because of toxicity in masculinity, we lose very good friends and people stay away from us because we are bullying them. So with this, I would like to thank you all for listening to my entire small part, and a small request to all of you that you can be masculine without being toxic masculine. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vishal, so systematically presenting it, that what toxic masculinity is, what all could be done. And I really appreciate the way you have presented that we need to change ourselves to bring the change in the society. So whatever is ingrained in present youth, that mard ko dard nahi hota and you should not be crying, suppress your emotions. When it is suppressed too much, naturally it becomes very toxic. That we too agree, right? So this is very important that we need to change our language. We need to tell them that they should talk. There is no harm in talking. They can express themselves. Even if I have seen in my school also, being a teacher, I've seen those children who express their emotion. They are being bullied by everyone as tu ladki hai kya? So naturally, when things are changing in the society, we need to change ourselves, our outlook also. And somewhere I think that women should put their feet down, that no, I will not take it anymore. Right? As I could say that we are struggling through getting jobs and getting entry in various fields. So here also, I think women only have to come forward and take some strong step that enough is enough. Right. And with that, there are few questions, and I could see in the chat box.
Nisha wants to present, means just ask Shubha, because she has just taken the discussion further, but she hasn't taken, means like she hasn't been given as a speaker chance. So please ask her. If she...
Okay. So, Miss Nisha, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm
Yeah,
very
she's
much
there.
there, but I'm
Yes.
sure that we all have summed up all the ideas. In
Hmm.
fact, I am very thankful for this opportunity, and I would like to thank the organizer and all the panel members and Dr. Nupur, Mrs. Singh. Everybody had given us a lot of different aspects of learning today.
Yes.
I am wanting to sum up today, ki whatever said and done, both the genders, whether it is male or female, are gifted as nice human beings on earth. And we both have to be in totality walking, striding together. There is nobody who's better than the another one. And we in our practice have to maintain this for the younger generation, Gen Z, to live properly, to exhibit their emotions properly, to let them vent out. We don't have to tell them, you don't do this and don't do that. Let them be nurtured properly the way they are. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so Nupur's
Thank you.
half slide left, right? So Nupur, would you like to take it further?
Yeah, in case it's time is permitting, I would love to.
Time is already over, but still, if you can sum up your...
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do that quickly then. Will you be able to share these slides?
Just a minute.
I'm really thankful to Mr. Vishal, Ms. Kaushal, Ms. Nisha, Mr. Mukherjee to actually bring up all these issues and also sharing your personal experiences. In fact, a lot of time, because that's what I want to bring in, we see it happening, but we are not
Session
able
going
to
on.
pinpoint. So in the meanwhile,
Yes.
while she is sharing the screen, I would ask each one of you to write 5 people that you love the most. So till the time we get the PPT there, I would want each one of you to write the answer to this. Give me the names of the 5 people that you love the most. You can write it in paper. Okay. Yeah, so we were here at this slide. So I'm sure each one of you have written by now.
Yes.
Okay. Now tell me, in these 5 people, who are there? Anyone can unmute and tell me. Anyone? Preeti, would you like to?
My daughter.
Okay.
And
Here we have got a message from Miss Nisha. She says, thanks to the entire team, my dad, she has mentioned all the family members, my mom, my kids, my friend, and myself.
Okay.
See, you have mentioned, you've asked 5 good names, and including from my creators to myself, I feel I love all of them to the most, whether they are men or women, but I love them the most.
Okay, just to put it, I think all of you can go back and have a look at your own sheet of paper where you have written down those names. Whether Nisha has put her name in the last, my question would be, how many of us have kept ourselves as first? So there was a question which came in between the discussion which said that till when this will happen, till when there will be a bias. This bias will keep on happening till each one of us does not start putting ourselves as a priority for our lives and decide what is right and what is wrong for us. We may have been born and brought up and groomed in a certain way, perfectly fine. But if change has to happen, we have to decide. We all see things happening around us, but what change we are expecting, we are the first people to initiate. Instead of expecting your husbands to change, or instead of expecting somebody else to change, your brother, father, mother, sister, whosoever it is, you are the person who is going to bring the change. Now, let me come back to the PPT. So we were talking about, first is the acknowledgement that where we are. And yes, it can happen to anybody. It is not only about toxic masculinity, about men. It is also about us. how do we want to project it? How do we want people to see us? What is that image that we are carrying on? Each one of us has our own fears, and each one of us is vulnerable to that kind of a perception. So first is identify what are your fears and have that courage to take them up. Can we go to the next slide? This we have already discussed and Mr. Vishal has already talked of, so I'm not picking up on this slide. Third is very relevant points were brought up that today something which was justified to a particular role or a particular gender at a point of time today have become life skills. For example, girls were not driving as many cars as to what it is today, but it is perfectly normal today. Whether it is a male or a female, the machine doesn't know that you are a male or a female. You are driving a machine. Similarly, whether you are doing your laundry, whether you are cooking, whether you are doing the first aid, whether you are able to manage your finances, you have to start identifying that to survive in current environment, you have to do certain tasks, including cooking, which is also taken most of the time as a gender bias role. So please identify what are the skills and please come up and teach your kids, whether it is a boy or whether it is a girl, what are the survival skills that each child need to know. Since we were talking about the men and we were also talking about, so you would find something very peculiar, but yes, that is also essential to understand in today's environment, that where you draw the line. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, one by one. So we have also taken up those issues of aggressive behavior. I would come to the next portion of this slide where we say what can be done. So the burning up of the issue or keeping the issues to ourselves is what leads to irritation, and the same irritation actually converts into a aggressive behavior. What we need to do to handle this? Can we go to the next portion of the slide, please? Yes. So something we need to identify is, please express. Let's say you have not liked something, express. You want something to be changed, express. You want something to be eaten, express. Please try and identify what is the emotion or what is the feeling that you are controlling. You did not like your boss telling you something, and what happens? You don't go and hit your boss, but you go and hit your wife. Why? Because there is an assumption that there you will have more loss in comparison to the kind of loss that you will have at home. So please identify what are the triggers which are troubling you. Be polite enough to express, but do mention. And do not find your family members as a source of venting out your anger. If you have the courage and if you feel it is right, vent out at the right person. दो हिंदी में कहावत है कि अगर आप सही है तो गुस्सा आना नहीं चाहिए, और अगर आप गलत है तो गुस्से आने की जरूरत नहीं है. So why are females not able to express it in the same way? Somewhere or the other, I feel it is understanding your emotions and also expressing your emotion that will sort half of your anger issue. Can we go to the next slide, please? And most of the time, when what I have personally experienced, because I was surrounded with men, they do not want to talk about it. They do not want to discuss it. Let's say there would be no solution, perfectly fine. But the moment we accept it and we start talking about it, there would be a possible solution. There would be a possible discussion to identify what is right and what is wrong. So even if you have to face a conversation, it is better to have a conversation than to have an anger issue. So please talk about it. And since I am dealing with emotional intelligence and I'm also a coach into it in the transformation process, something I would like to mention here specifically, whether it is a male or a female, first you need to identify what are your emotions that you are going through. Second, how do you manage your own emotions? And yes, there are certain emotions or certain situations which you have to manage socially. The moment you start identifying your emotions and handling your emotions in a social setup, you will be able to have more effective relationship. And that relation is whether with your children, that relation is whether with your spouse, that relation is whether with your friends, and also at your workplace. And today the environment is not male-dominated workplace environment. The environment is with the co-genders and various genders. So as of today, we need to understand our emotion and also should be able to handle our emotions effectively. Can we go to the next slide, please? This is something which possibly is highly related to toxic behavior, where we do not want to accept. We have a challenge accepting that मेरे को मदद की जरूरत है. And हमारी society भी हमें नहीं कहती है कि अगर मदद की जरूरत है तो please जाओ बोलो. No, you should stand up. You should have the courage to face. So if you feel that you are facing a challenge and you are finding it difficult to cope up with it, please ask for help. मदद मांगने से हम छोटे नहीं हो जाएंगे. हाँ, किससे मांगनी है? Yes, you need to make that decision कि मेरे को किससे मदद मांगनी है. And if we are able to follow some of these aspects in our life, we will be able to make a healthy relation. And to make a healthy relation, you need to have honesty, you need to have understanding, you also need to have mutual respect. And it is not only about genders, it is also about various age group. We expect our children to respect us, but do we respect their thought process? Do we respect their ideologies? Do we respect their decisions? Also look at, do people around you find you to be trustworthy? Do they feel safe around you? Or do you have a right way of communication with the people around you to make a healthy relationship? One of the initial behavior to tell you that you have certain symptoms of toxic masculinity is that people do not trust you, or people do not feel safe to you, or they do not talk to you as much. So look at all those symptoms which will help you to understand your situation better. Can we go to the next slide, please? So this is on the last of these things. If you are facing any problem somewhere or the other, some iota of issue in the personal life is related to toxic masculinity. With this, I think I'm towards the end of my presentation. And last, I'm Major Nupur Gupta, Dean Academics, IMS Noida. If you feel that you need to connect with me, my number is there. And thank you for giving such a platform to me. I'm thankful to Preeti, I'm thankful to Shubha and all the panel members for such a wonderful discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nupur, so beautifully. It was really a pleasure to listen you speak, because the topics that you have taken up, that asking for help, that is so very important. I think you have answered all the questions that might be our speakers might be thinking about it. And I really, from heart, I want to thank Preeti for taking up this topic. It was such a wonderful topic, which we all might be thinking, but maybe we never asked for it.
So here, Shubha, I just want to say that for this topic, my daughter suggested me when I was planning the topics. And the reason is she is a big follower of BTS. And always she has to face kya ladkiyon jaise ladke pasand hai. Always. And she wants to convey this. Ki mama means like, theek hai, if it's my choice. And I don't like hairy boys. I don't want that men to be men-like figure. I want these, means I like these boys because the way they have a talent, the way the Koreans have a values for the females, means she want me to discuss this topic on the open forum. Today it is her farewell, so she's not there though in the discussion. But yeah, definitely she is going to go through the recordings. I just want to caution, ma'am, daughter wants to say something. She's requested us.
Ma'am, just give me a minute. I'm calling her. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute.
So still she wants that why there is a means like man never goes for waxing, and if any man is going for a waxing, so then kya ladkiyon jaise? Agar wo baal bada kar raha hai, to kya ladkiyon jaise? ठीक है, if he is going for a eyebrows or parlor, अरे क्या हम तो क्या है, हम तो लड़के हैं, 5 मिनट में तैयार हो जाएंगे, right? So
as our panelists said that we have to change the stereotype statements that we are making.
Actually, when and it can only comes as Vishal. I don't remember who said that it is a deep rooted in the rural areas. Yeah, definitely, it's take time. It's like you cannot change the mentality of the people. Those roots are so deep in that they have seen from the years. Only men are doing not doing household work, and they are just working. If they are even idle, they'll not be pick a glass of water by themselves. So this mentality need to be changed. When husband comes from the office, or means anybody, means like any male figure come from the office or somewhere, I've seen mothers running and providing them with the water, or फिर खाना लगा दें, ऐसा कर दें. Have you ever done this with the girls? या फिर wife के लिए किसी ने ऐसे पानी लेके दौड़ा है कोई husband? So we need to
But
change the personality.
Preeti, I'm happy that we are able to identify that this is a problem.
Yeah,
So until unless we are looking at it as a problem, we will never try to look for a solution.
right.
Thank God that you rigged it up, and at least we are looking at it as a problem. And I'm very sure that the days are not far when we will bring some change.
Definitely. Yes, yeah, beta, you can please. I just want to hear what you want.
Yes, very good evening to all of you. And as I was doing some work of my own, and I heard all of you speak about toxic masculinity today. And actually, it is something which I have seen from my childhood, and I'm still seeing now. And there were actually hundreds of opinions of all of you that I could totally relate to, because I have seen my own friends being mean to that one particular person who is being polite to us, to all female friends, and who is wearing some kind of feminine color. Actually, I'm getting a little nervous because she just called me in between or something.
Okay, you are
So
speaking
I
fabulous.
can definitely relate to all of those facts. But one thing that hit me the most was that children learn from their parents directly. We totally agree from that fact. And when I see my brother, sometimes he gets very aggressive on very small matters, बहुत ही जल्दी से. And I think about that कि पापा तो हर चीज को बहुत maturely लेते हैं. On every matter, he's like, okay, we should do this in this particular way, and it looks all very systematic. So, and he is totally opposite to him. So उस time पे I'm like, okay, नहीं, I cannot totally relate to that. I do not totally agree with that fact, because he is learning many things from his friends as well. But where is these things coming to his friends then? Obviously from their own parents. So there are many answers to this question and many other things as well. But still, but it was very nice listening to all of you. So thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Even we would like more younger people to come and join us to express their opinion and point. Naturally, we are all waiting to listen from them what this present generation they think about all this
So
topic.
Shubha, from this platform, actually, you can means like you can invite like Nisha is there,
Mhm.
Dr. Ma'am is there. As we are
Yes.
looking for more HTH on the HTH platform, we are looking more youngsters to join us, right? So you can request them to do that.
Definitely.
Thanks for the
Wonderful.
compliment that we are young people still.
Yeah, it was
So-
wonderful to hear from all the speakers, their opinion, their viewpoints, and some people that just presented with an example. And definitely it is an eye-opening session. And I request Ms. Preeti to take it further and just come up with such kind of topics that we could talk about. And there was so much to talk. I could see the panelists raising their hands and then stepping in and giving their
At
opinion
the
and
same
views.
time, Mrs. Mukherjee, you are absolutely right. There's so much to talk still, and
Yes.
there's so much to learn still. Miss Dr. Nupur has given us a very, very big capsule today. And if we start finding out the dimensions of all those slides which she has shown, there is endless discussion that we can have. And the brainstorming sessions with such learned people make you think in a different manner also.
That's
know,
very true.
Today we
Yes.
have learned from principal, we have learned from Mr. Vishal, and the kind of perception these men had to talk about toxic masculinity. The most important thing, a man talking about this is really a hats off. Thanks to all of you. Deep gratitude.
Thank you.
Fully agree with you, Ms. Nisha, that if this point would not have been taken up, I think we would have missed a such good points that we have discussed today. Yes. Thank you, Miss Preeti,
Thank
and for giving me this opportunity also.
You
Thank
have
you
done
so
a
much.
great job, Shubha. And tomorrow, we are ending our webinar series with male assault. Okay, so if anybody wants to be a speaker, they can volunteer for that. Please timely inform me today itself so that I can make a poster so that it is timely posted. So tomorrow we are ending with this. I'll be surely putting the means giving these feedback form also. Please go through the recordings on our STH form on platform. We are on YouTube, we are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, LinkedIn. And I request Nisha ma'am and Kaushal ma'am, because they are dealing with the kids directly. We are looking for 18 to 17 years kids to join us as a council
Definitely.
members.
Definitely we will do.
Sure.
Definitely we will do the needful. We also wanted our kids to have platforms like this, that they
We
can
would
also
love-
share their
We
viewpoints.
would love to be associated with more such issues which are involving the younger generation, you know. I mean, after Corona, after COVID times, this internet and this social networking has picked up so nicely. Even we have raised our potentials to reach out to people, whether it is WebEx, whether it is Zoom meeting sessions, or any other social platform. There are issues which have cropped up in the adolescent lives. You know, some people have lost their dear family members, some have lost the earning capacity in the house. You know, some people have come from riches to the poor strata. So it is not easy for them to fight all these issues. And some good students have gone into their own shells, you know. It is very difficult to make them come out of their zones and speak now. As Dr. Nupu said, that they need to exhibit their emotions, they need to socialize, to lend this kind of helping hand, to lend this kind of open discussions to them and make a part of it. It would be really fruitful for them.
Yeah. So I just want to tell that through HTH, we are providing all the webinars free of cost. There is no charges. Basic vision is that we are giving ear to the all age groups. It's not, we are not defining any of the age group, because everybody is struggling with the mental and emotional health. So basic counseling is provided from us. So basic counseling here means like whatever the problem they are facing, we are just giving ear to it, and we can provide the solutions as per we have a therapist and counselors attached with us. Now, if anybody wants the deep sessions, then definitely they can go for the one-to-one sessions, which will be the paid. So webinars and open discussions hearing is completely free of cost from our platform.
Thank you and good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Good night
Preeti
to all
ma'am and
the speakers.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
and good night.
Thank you, Vishal. Thank you, Haridas sir, Nisha, Kaushal ma'am, Shubha, Major Nupu.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed.
Thank you so much.
I said Neha to Nisha in my presentation.
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
I'm sorry
Maybe
for that.
you have seen my means like I was actually calling her Neha earlier.
So actually I was calling Neha. I just saw her name is Nisha. Sorry Nisha, I misspelled your name.
It's all right. It's completely all right.
But it was
Please
really nice
connect on LinkedIn
Yeah,
with
sure,
us.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's really nice meeting all of you. Thank you so much.
Same
Thanks for
here.
sharing.
Thank you,
Pleasure is
sir.
ours.
Thank you so
Same here,
much.
sir.
All right.
Good evening
Bye-bye.
and
Good
thank
night.
you, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
night,
Be
everyone.
safe. Good